My cheating wife froze in shock when I calmly said, "We need to finalize the divorce by Monday, so you can enjoy your AP as a free woman." She screamed, "What are you talking about?" Without a word, I threw a folder full of evidence of her betrayal onto the kitchen table and said coldly, "You better agree, or I'll destroy you." She flinched. For the first time in months, she didn't have something smug to say. No sarcastic eye roll. No fake tears. Just silence, as her eyes scanned the pages, screenshots, receipts, GPS records, a photo of her getting into his black Escalade at 1:46 a.m. outside the Wyndham Hotel. Wearing the same red dress she told me was just for girls' night. Let me rewind just 40 minutes earlier. I'd been watching her for weeks, quietly, like a predator in tall grass. Her name's Amber, and for 6 years, I called her my wife. People thought we had the perfect marriage. Hell, I thought so too, until one night I caught her texting someone under the name Aunt Melissa. Odd name for an aunt, especially one who kept sending her eggplant emojis and voice notes at midnight. I knew something was off. Amber started staying late at work. She'd come home freshly showered, but with makeup still perfect. Her perfume changed from light floral to heavy and musky. She stopped asking me about my day. She started locking her phone. And then came the lies. Constant, bold-faced lies. "I'm at yoga," but her sports bag stayed in the closet. "I'm with Becca." Becca posted a beach selfie that night, with a different group of friends. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I played the role. The loyal husband. The idiot. I let her get comfortable. But inside, I was boiling. I started gathering evidence. A friend of mine, Dylan, works in cybersecurity. He helped me track locations through shared devices. Her iPad gave everything away. Hotel stays, routes to his house, audio snippets, things she said in the back of an Uber that made me want to punch through my steering wheel. The worst part? I recognized the guy. His name is Chase Walker. My ex-colleague. The one I helped get a job. The one who came to our backyard barbecue last summer and hugged my wife a little too long. The one who texted me, "Thanks, bro," while probably zipping up his pants behind my back. They didn't even try to be careful anymore. One night, I followed her to a rooftop bar downtown. She kissed him before they even stepped inside. Full on, gripping his neck, pressing into him kind of kiss. I took photos. I filmed it. Then I went home, made a folder, and titled it, Endgame. Tonight was the moment I chose to unleash it. She had just come back from book club. Hair messy in that he pulled it way, lips a bit smudged, heels clutched in one hand. She walked in and tossed her purse like a queen returning from battle. I was waiting in the kitchen. Calm. Steady. "Hey, babe," she said, not even glancing at me. That was her final insult. I stood up, pushed the divorce folder across the marble counter, and said those 12 words that hit her harder than a slap. "We need to finalize the divorce by Monday, so you can enjoy your AP as a free woman." The color drained from her face. Her mouth opened like she had a comeback, but nothing came out. Just the sound of papers being shuffled as she saw photo after photo of her lies. Her betrayal. Her body, wrapped around Chase in a hotel lobby. Her giggling about how he's so much more of a man than boring old Ryan. Me. I'm Ryan. And I'm done being boring. "Where did you get this?" she whispered. I smiled. "I know everything, Amber." Then she went into defensive mode. "That's not what it looks like." "Cut the crap," I said, voice low. "You cheated. You lied. You humiliated me. And here's the part that still burns." She scoffed. She scoffed, looked me dead in the eye and said, "You really want to throw away our marriage over a few mistakes? Grow up, Ryan." That's when I knew. She wasn't sorry. She never would be. This wasn't some one-night slip-up. This was calculated, repeated, cruel. And she didn't care. Not about me. Not about our vows. Not about the years we built together. All she cared about was her excitement, her adrenaline, her new alpha. That's what she called him once in a voice note. "He's AF **ing alpha, Amber. You deserve better than your clingy husband." Asterisk. She was right. She deserves Chase. She deserves the fake world he built around her. Because I'm about to burn it all down. Amber stood there clutching the folder, trembling, but not from guilt. From panic. That calculating look in her eyes told me she was already scrambling to flip the script. She wasn't crying. She wasn't apologizing. She was scanning for a way out. "I can explain," she said, voice shaking, like she thought I'd still buy it. "This isn't what you think, Ryan. It was just, I've been feeling so alone. You've been distant, working late. I needed someone to talk to. I laughed. Loud. Bitter. So you found comfort between Chase Walker's sheets? Her mouth twitched. She wasn't used to me like this. I'd always been the nice guy. The safe husband. The one who stayed quiet when she talked over me in front of friends. The one who bought her flowers after her tantrums. But now I was steel. Cold. Focused. She dropped the folder on the table and folded her arms, that smug smirk creeping back. Look, if you're gonna act like a psycho over a few flirty nights. I slammed my hand on the counter. Don't. She jumped. Don't insult me with this crap, I said. You think I didn't notice the perfume, the late nights, the way you stopped touching me? You think I didn't see you take off your wedding ring before going out? She blinked, trying to regain control. Ryan, listen, Chase isn't who you think he is. It's not even serious. It was just something that happened. We were both lost. You weren't lost, I said. You were found. In a hotel room. Again. And again. She stared at me, then turned away, muttering, "This is such bulls **T. No, I said. What's bulls **T is that I was planning our anniversary trip while you were in his bed. That I was thinking about starting a family, while you were whispering how much more exciting he was. Her shoulders stiffened. I walked around the counter, stood inches from her. I listened to your Uber recordings, Amber. I heard you tell him you wished I'd just disappear. She didn't even deny it. Instead, she turned to me and spat. You were never man enough for me. Boom. There it was. The mask was off. All these years, all the little jabs, the passive-aggressive digs, the fake smiles, it all led to this moment. Her truth. I carried this marriage, she hissed. I made you. Without me, you're just some safe, boring IT guy. You needed me to be someone. I stared at her. Then I leaned in and said quietly, by Monday, you'll be free of the boring IT guy. And you'll be back to who you really are. A liar. A manipulator. And now? A woman with nothing left to hide behind. She slapped me. I took it. Didn't flinch. Didn't blink. I turned and walked to the hallway. You've got 3 days to move your stuff out. I'm changing the locks Monday night. You can't kick me out of this house. Oh, I can. The deed's in my name. So is the car you borrowed to visit Chase. She threw a vase at the wall. It shattered. Pieces skittered across the floor like the last shards of our marriage. You'll regret this, she screamed. I paused at the doorway. No, I regret trusting you. I regret loving you. I left her there, standing barefoot on broken glass, crying not for what she lost, but for what she couldn't control anymore. Upstairs, I sat on the edge of our bed, my bed now, and let the weight of everything crash down. The betrayal, the gaslighting, the realization that the woman I married had been gone long before Chase ever showed up. I felt hollow, not angry, not even sad, just empty, because it wasn't just about the affair. It was the disrespect, the way she looked at me like I was a backup plan, a safety net, something disposable. And the worst part? I let her. For years, I ignored the red flags. I swallowed my pride every time she flirted in front of me. I forgave her when she disappeared on our anniversary with a half-hearted excuse. I told myself she was just going through something. She was. She was going through my life like a wildfire. And now, she was standing in the ashes. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, staring out the window, listening to her pacing downstairs, crying, texting someone, probably Chase, then screaming again. The chaos was finally on the outside, where it belonged. The next morning, I woke up to silence. Not the calm kind. The tense, heavy kind, like the air before a storm. I walked downstairs barefoot, the house still reeking of last night's perfume and rage. Amber was curled up on the couch, mascara smeared, blanket pulled over her like some wounded victim, as if she hadn't torn through my trust like a wild animal. She didn't say anything, just stared at me with red-rimmed eyes. I walked past her, grabbed my keys, and said, I'll be back in an hour. I want you gone by the time I return. Ryan, don't do this. I stopped mid-step, not turning around. You think I'm just gonna roll over and let you ruin my life? She continued. You think you're the only one who can play dirty? That was her threat, her pathetic little warning. But it didn't hit like she hoped it would. I turned slowly, locking eyes with her. Do it. Try me. She stared back, jaw tight, like she was calculating how far she could push me. Chase has lawyers, she said. He says you can't just throw me out. We're still legally married. I almost laughed. Is that the same Chase who couldn't even hold a steady job until I vouched for him? The guy whose biggest asset is a leased SUV and a fake Rolex. She flinched at that one. I could tell she was losing grip, sliding down the wall she'd built around her delusions. Don't talk about him like that, she snapped. He actually sees me. He makes me feel alive. I nodded slowly, walking toward the door. Then go live with him. See how long he enjoys the real you. I left before she could answer. At the cafe, I met up with Dylan again. He handed me a small USB. The rest of the voice memos. Some of them. Man, they're brutal. I shoved it into my jacket pocket. Doesn't matter. I already heard what I needed. He leaned in, lowering his voice. You okay? I looked him dead in the eyes. No, but I'm getting there. Back home, her car was gone. Good. I didn't even walk in right away. I stood on the porch, staring at the sky, wondering how the hell I didn't see her for who she was. But maybe I did. Maybe I just didn't want to. Inside, she'd left behind a note. Ryan, I'm sorry it ended like this. I never wanted to hurt you. But I also didn't want to keep pretending. Please remember the good times. Amber, the good times? Like when she cried on our wedding night because she forgot to send a text to her friend back home. Or when she made me cancel Christmas with my family because we need time alone, only to disappear for 2 days straight. Yeah, unforgettable. I crumpled the note and tossed it. Later that evening, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I picked up. Hey man, it's Chase. My fist clenched instantly. What do you want? I just want to talk. Look, I didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't even know she was still with you like that. She told me you guys were separated. Bullsh***, I snapped. I swear. I wouldn't have. Look, I'm not that guy, all right? She told me you were controlling, that you were done, that she was miserable. So you took her to a hotel to cheer her up? Silence. Thought so, I said. Tell you what, Chase. You can keep her. Just know, the woman you rescued, she's the same one who told me you were a rebound. A thrill. A distraction until she figured out what she really wanted. Wait, what? She called you a fantasy. Said she needed the danger, not the man. He was quiet. Then, softly, she said she loved me. Yeah, I said. She also said she loved me. Right before she started lying every day. I hung up. This wasn't just about me anymore. Chase was another stepping stone in her spiral. And I'd bet money she was already lining up the next one. That night, I poured myself a drink and sat at the kitchen table where I first laid out the folder. The silence was louder now. The house felt different. Empty, yes, but clean. Clean of her noise. Her perfume. Her lies. But I wasn't free yet. Because as much as I wanted to pretend she was gone, I still had her voice in my head. Her laughter from better days. Her stupid little jokes. The way she used to trace circles on my arm when we watched TV. It all felt like a dream I'd woken up from too late. And yet, beneath the ache, something else began to rise. Not anger. Not pain. Clarity. She was never mine. Not really. She was just passing through, tasting everything life had to offer, wrecking anyone who dared to get close. But I survived. And now, I was about to build something she could never touch. The next morning, I went to the lawyer's office. I didn't sleep much the night before, just stared at the ceiling, replaying every scene I used to call love. My hand hovered over the favorites tab on my phone out of habit. Her name used to sit at the top. Not anymore. My lawyer, Mark Davidson, a no-nonsense guy in his 50s with a face like a bulldog and the patience of a monk, slid the papers across the polished oak table. All we need now is her signature. Based on what you showed me, this won't be a battle, unless she's dumber than she looks. She's arrogant, I said. She'll try something. He nodded. Then we hit harder. I left the office with a fresh copy of the divorce papers in a leather folder. A sense of control was slowly returning, like my skin fit again after weeks of crawling around in someone else's life. But I wasn't prepared for what I'd find back at the house. Her car was there, and so was his. Chase, that spineless worm. I parked down the street, heart pounding. Walked the rest of the way. Slower. Calculated. There was movement behind the blinds. Voices. I stepped through the front door without knocking. Didn't even bother slamming it. I wanted them to hear the calm. That kind of quiet is scarier than any rage. They were in the living room. She was standing with her arms crossed, like she was hosting a talk show. He was sitting on my couch, legs spread, like he lived there. Didn't expect you back so soon, Amber said, tilting her head with that smugness that used to make me melt. Now it made my stomach turn. I bet, I said. I pulled the folder from under my arm and tossed it on the coffee table. We're signing this today. Hold on. Chase started, but I cut him off. You don't get to talk. He shut up. Amber laughed, actually laughed. You think you can come in here barking orders? After the way you've treated me? The invasion of my privacy? Spying on me. Privacy. I raised an eyebrow. You brought your affair into our home. She rolled her eyes. This again. Every day until it's over, I said. Sign the papers, Amber. Chase stood up. She needs time. I took a step closer to him, calm as ice. Time's up. Amber looked between us. For the first time, her confidence cracked. Ryan, you're being hostile. No, I said. I'm being free. I picked up the folder again, pulled out the papers, and held a pen toward her. You sign, and you walk. No drama. No court. No public mess. You'll be free to keep doing whatever you two do behind cheap hotel doors. She took the pen, hesitated. I want the car. I smiled. You'll get your dignity, if you can find it. Her hand trembled slightly as she scribbled her name. She didn't even look at the lines. She just signed like she was done pretending. Chase shifted, uncomfortable, as if he thought this would go differently. That I'd fall apart. That maybe I'd beg. Not this version of me. When it was done, she dropped the pen and said, Now what? Now, I said, you pack your crap, and the both of you get out. She looked at Chase. He was already grabbing his keys. I guess he didn't like this side of Amber either. Wait, she said, suddenly unsure. That's it. You're not even going to try to fix this. I laughed. Fix what? You torched the bridge, Amber. You lit the match and danced while it burned. She stared at me like I was a stranger. Then she walked past me, perfume trailing behind her like a ghost. By evening, they were gone. The house was quiet again. But this time, it didn't feel heavy. It felt clean. I sat on the back porch with a beer, watching the sky turn orange. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was holding my breath. I wasn't numb. I wasn't broken. I was alive. It's a strange thing. When the pain fades enough to let the truth in, you weren't the one who failed. You were just the one who believed too much. I still had her voice echoing in the walls. Still saw her shadow in the hallway. But they were just remnants now. Dust waiting to be swept out. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. If you think you've won, you haven't. Amber. I stared at it. Then I deleted it. She doesn't get to live in my head anymore. The next few days were quieter than I expected. No drama. No surprise visits. No screaming phone calls. Just absence. At first, it felt eerie. Like the calm before a bigger storm. I kept waiting for the trap door to open. For Amber to pull something. For Chase to show up with some pathetic threat. But nothing came. Until Wednesday. I was heading back from the gym when I saw it. A sleek silver BMW parked across the street from my house. Windows tinted. Engine off. Just sitting there. I parked a few houses down, watched for a minute, then walked home like I hadn't noticed. As I reached the porch, the car started. Drove off slow. Real slow. It wasn't hers. I knew her car like the back of my hand. That one was new. Or borrowed. I called Dylan. You think she's watching me now? I asked. There was a pause. Wouldn't surprise me. Her type doesn't let go easy. They want to control the narrative, even when they're the villain. Good, I said. Let her watch. Let her see what rebuilding looks like. I started changing things around the house. Not for revenge. For me. I repainted the bedroom. Ripped out the old curtains she'd insisted on. I even took down the wedding photos and tossed them into a box labeled evidence of blindness. But it was Saturday when things finally exploded. I had a date. A real one. Her name was Haley, a friend of a friend. Sweet. Smart. Direct. She knew I was fresh off a nuclear breakup and still agreed to meet for coffee. We sat by the window, talked about everything but Amber. It was normal. Easy. Until my phone buzzed halfway through the second cappuccino. Unknown number. You really think I'm going to let you flaunt some slut while I'm still picking up the pieces? I showed Haley the screen. She just smirked. You've got yourself a crazy one, huh? I married her, I said. She laughed. That laugh made me feel human again. But by the time I got home, the crazy had reached DEFCON 1. The front door was wide open. I stepped inside, heart pounding. Kitchen lights on. Hallway dark. And there she was. Amber. Standing in the living room like she still lived there. What the hell are you doing here? She turned slowly, makeup perfect, hair curled. Like this was some kind of reunion. We need to talk. No, I said. We don't. She took a step forward. I know I hurt you. I know I lied. But that doesn't mean we can't. We can't, I cut in. Because there's no we. There's you. And there's me. And there's a pile of destruction between us. She blinked, stunned at the resistance. Like she expected me to soften. I miss you, Ryan, she whispered. I made a mistake. One. I asked. Which night? Which hotel? Which lot? She looked away. For a moment, the mask dropped. I saw something close to regret. Maybe not for what she did, but for losing the power she once had over me. Then, just like that, the venom returned. You think that girl's gonna heal you? She snapped. She's a rebound. A placeholder. She doesn't know the real you. She doesn't know what I know. I laughed in her face. You don't know me. You only ever knew what I let you use. Her lip curled. I built this life with you. You stole pieces of it. I corrected. And now you're trespassing. Get out. I'm not leaving until we finish this. We did finish this. You signed it. She threw her purse at the wall. You're not better than me, Ryan. You're just better at hiding it. Maybe, I said. But at least I'm not the one who betrayed everything I swore to protect. She stormed out. No apology. No tears. Just the sound of her heels stabbing the floor on her way out. I locked the door behind her. Double-bolted it. Then I sat down and exhaled like I hadn't in years. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel strong. But I felt done. And sometimes, done is enough to start again. Sunday morning, I stood in the kitchen pouring coffee into a chipped mug, the one she always hated. Said it looked cheap. I kept it, not out of sentiment, but because it reminded me that I was finally choosing for myself again. The house was still, peaceful in a way that used to feel impossible. No tension buzzing through the air, no eggshells underfoot. Just silence. Beautiful, healing silence. I sat on the back porch watching the early sunlight stretch across the yard. For the first time, I wasn't haunted by the echo of her laughter or the memory of her perfume trailing down the hallway. I was free. My phone buzzed. A new message. From her. I still think about us. About what we had. I wish it didn't end like this. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The part of me that once longed for her validation was gone. Burned out. Starved. Buried. Replaced by something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. It took getting humiliated to see the truth. To realize I'd been loving someone who treated me like a spare option, a backup plan, a thing to lean on until something better came along. But I survived her. And that's what mattered. In the weeks that followed, I started building again. Not just my homie. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in years. I started hiking again. I slept through the night. I smiled without having to force it. I even saw Haley again. A few times. No pressure. No weight. Just two people talking about real things. Laughing at bad movies. Sharing meals without hidden tension or buried resentment. Whatever it becomes, or doesn't, it's honest. And that's enough. One night, I pulled the divorce folder out of the drawer. I didn't need it anymore. The evidence, the photos, the recordings, they were dead weight. Proof of something I'd already overcome. So I lit the fire pit, dropped the whole stack in, and watched it burn. Watched her lies turn to smoke. Watched my pain curl into ash. And when it was done, I sat there alone with nothing but the sound of crackling wood and my own breath. I was still here. Still standing. Stronger. Smarter. And finally whole. If anyone reading this has been through it, or is in it right now, here's my advice. Don't beg someone to love you the right way. Don't stay loyal to someone who feeds off your silence. Don't try to fix what they keep breaking on purpose. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And if they burn your world down, rebuild better. Without them.